Hello, welcome back to Rapid Regeneration. I'm Dave Escamilla. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not making any medical claims or claims about diseases. I'm just a regular guy, regular individual like yourself. And basically, I was forced to learn how to heal the body, how to clean out the body, and how to cleanse the body out of toxins and impurities and wastes and degenerative issues, because I suffered and carried a great burden on my shoulders when I was 22 years old. I overdosed. I had a drug overdose accidentally on cough medicine, and it caused so many issues with my nervous system. I was exhausted all the time. I couldn't think straight. I had no energy. I had brain fog that was horrific. Couldn't communicate. Couldn't function. I was an emotional wreck. I was financially a mess. I mean, my whole life fell apart. And for 4 years, I suffered horrendously, wondering if there was ever an answer to this, because I couldn't find one. Well, finally, I discovered cleansing, detox, and cleaning the body out of toxins, because what I suffered with was an acute toxic incident where heavily toxic synthetic chemicals, my body was flooded with a large dose that was poisonous. But what I suffered with in one night is not so dissimilar to what many individuals suffer from, which can be accumulated over many, many years and decades, which is gradual exposure to toxins and poisons. And then you get into the food, and so much of the food has all these chemicals in it. And furthermore, a lot of the food is very acidic. And so all of that can lead to degenerative problems that happen in the body. I never signed up for this trip to become an expert on all this type of thing. But now I'm 9 years into my healing journey, because after 4 years, I just started discovering some of these methods, and I've been applying them now for 9 years. I was able to completely eliminate all my symptoms after a few years, and then since then, I've continued onwards. And so that's why I'm sharing this information with you, because I got my life back. I eliminated all those symptoms, and I know this stuff works. And so, at least for me and for a lot of other people. And so I'm committed to sharing it, because I believe that this information is suppressed, that it's not as well known as it should be. And if you're looking for solutions to solve a health problem, if you want to go to the next level in terms of energy, performance, then this information is for you. And if you just keep learning and give this stuff a try, then it's really unbelievable, and it's amazing. And so I'm talking about a one-day gut cleanse. Specifically, I'm talking about the Zen Cleanz. There is a Zen Cleanz, which is a one-day gut cleanse. And what happened was, I was at my chiropractor, and I went in there, and he said, man, I just did this one-day gut cleanse. It was unbelievable, the stuff that came out. And he described it to me. This is Dr. Jason Albright, okay, in Cedar Park, Texas. Excellent chiropractor. And so that night, I ordered it, because I'm always looking for a shortcut. That's human nature. That's our expedient nature. That's how we got into trouble in the first place, is eating all these foods that feel good in the short term and taking chemicals and stuff like that. But nowadays I use that, but to do the opposite if I can. So I tried it, and I was absolutely blown away. In 9 years of cleansing, I've not seen results that are this dramatic, and I've done lots of other intestinal cleansing and other types of cleansing. And so basically what it is and the way it works is it's enzymes. It's basically fruits and vegetables in this formulation that are supposedly fermented for multiple years and create this formulation. And basically it's a cocktail of enzymes, and supposedly, according to the logic behind how this works, the enzymes are basically what go into the body, into the gut, to the intestines. And if there's material that's lining the intestines that should be removed, the enzymes basically go to work on breaking it down and loosening it up so that it can be removed. And basically, I did this. It's a 1-day cleanse, although it's really technically, it could be a 5-day cleanse, because it's suggested that you drink nothing but juice for 2 days before and 2 days afterwards. Now that's what I did. Although it's just a suggestion, technically you could not do it. Although I think at least for the 2 days afterwards, it would be advisable, because the whole idea is that the mechanical action is going to work better if there's no solids in the intestines for clearing some of this stuff out. Because we're not trying to get out food wastes and waste from stool. We're trying to clear out old waste from the body. And so what came out of me was shocking and horrifying. It was, I would say, 5 to 10 pounds of this rubbery material, very rubbery, sticky, slimy. Oh God, I took pictures, but I'm going to spare you the horror. I did also examine it with like a stick, and it did not resemble stool from food waste at all. It was very sticky and just rubbery and kind of lipidy. I was blown away when this stuff came out. It came out the day after doing the cleanse, where you drink these concoctions all day long, and it actually keeps you full. The enzymes kind of, I didn't really have any appetite to eat anything. But the next day, over about 3 to 5 bowel movements, all this stuff came out, and I was completely amazed. Because I've done other colon cleansing in the past. I've used herbs, I've used oxygen-based cleansers, I've used vitamins, minerals, enemas. I've used it all. I've done extensive cleaning of the gut because I know how important cleaning out the gut is to overall health of the body. And yet, I've never seen anything work this quickly and effectively and get this much stuff out. Not even close. And so, really, I also felt so much better afterwards. I felt lighter. I felt an increased sensation of my actual intestinal area. Like I felt like I could now feel my intestines in my body, which was a sensation that I had lost, organic sensation. I felt just in a better mood. I'm an energy freak, and I felt an increase of energy. And so, and if I look back on how I behaved and my actions since doing the cleanse, which this was about 6 months ago, man, I've just been on a tear. I'm not going to say I'm a completely different person, but I am a different person a little bit. And I credit the cleanse for me feeling better immediately. And not only that, but I will say that it also affected my appetite a lot, in a good way. And it changed what I was desiring to eat. And previously I was eating a lot more fat, maybe excessive amounts of fat. And there's problems when you eat a lot of fat, because it can slow down digestion, it can overtax the digestive system, it can back up the lymphatic system, and create potential acidic chemistry from that digestive process. And so fat is best in moderation. And so I noticed that after doing this cleanse, I craved eating fat a lot less, and I started eating less fat, and I was actually thriving with less. And so I definitely credited the cleanse for that. And so these were substantial benefits that I got from doing it. And so, what was the stuff that came out? What was this? Because I had already described what it looked like. So I've talked in other segments about something that's called the slime wall. Okay, and you've also heard the term mucus or mucoid plaque. Now, when I bring up mucoid plaque, you'll see that there's people that love to hate this word. There's people on the internet that claim that mucoid plaque doesn't exist, and that any product that's claiming to remove it is a scam and is basically snake oil. So I don't know if mucoid plaque exists or not. I think it's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable premise that it does exist. I know this, that the slime wall is a real thing. I believe in the slime wall. And basically, the theory behind this is quite sound in my view, because it's very well known that the intestines can produce mucus. Just like your head can produce mucus, you have the mucosa of the intestines. Well, why? Why is this? This is a defensive mechanism of the body in many cases. So why would the body need to create mucus in the gut? So what would happen if you ate something that was extremely toxic, extremely poisonous, or on the chemical side, let's say it was highly acidic, after being digested, highly acidic. If you look at chemistry, if you have something that's highly acidic, that's basically in a neutral environment, to slightly basic environment, the acids will literally eat through the tissue and will literally disintegrate it. So if you had this thing going through the intestines and it was so acidic, it would literally burn a hole in the intestines and it would disintegrate and your gut would just start falling apart. It would look like Swiss cheese. The body is not going to allow that to happen. The body is so intelligent and resilient. It has its own defensive mechanism. And so If something that acidic enters in the intestine, then the mucosa of the intestine will secrete mucus, and the mucus acts as a protective buffer against the acids. They create a buffer that buffers the acids against the actual cells of the intestinal tissue. This is similar to what happens where you have cholesterol plaquing in the arteries, right, in the capillaries. You could get chemistry that is bordering on becoming toxic or overly acidic in the capillaries, in the circulatory system, and the body will naturally protect these capillaries, not allow them to become disintegrated, and instead buffer them using cholesterol and using cholesterol plaquing. That's the lipids and basically the fats that are used, the whole intelligent process of the body involving the liver and involving everything else to create this defense. Okay, well then you have high cholesterol, you have plaquing, and that can lead to heart attacks, strokes, that can lead to other things. And so then you have people and experts that are pointing the blame at the cholesterol. Hey, you have high cholesterol. The cholesterol is killing you, or it's going to kill you. But they're missing the point, because the cholesterol is not the root cause. The cholesterol is an effect that happens because of the root cause, which is over acidity, basically. And what's the solution? Is, of course, to alkalize the body. You want to get rid of the overly acidic chemistry in the body, get rid of all the toxins and waste that has produced, and then keep the body alkaline. So, as it pertains to the intestines, okay, you have the same issue that's going on. So, let's say if you just did this one time and you just had one really, really super acidic meal. Okay, you went through the drive-through somewhere and you ate this meal and it was so acidic, and your intestines secrete all this mucus to buffer it, and then the meal went through, and then you went back to eating super alkaline after that. Well, the body would slowly just get rid of this mucus and eliminate it and slowly return to a stasis of normal. But what happens is that you have someone that's putting extremely acidic things in the intestines multiple times daily, again and again, day after day, month after month, year after year. It's like a non-stop trauma to the gut. And if you look at, I did another segment about alkaline versus acidic, and basically different foods that are acid forming. Well, it's so many of the foods. And so what you have is basically a condition where you have constant mucus that's being created in the gut because of all this acidic food, not to mention the drugs, the chemicals that are going through there. And so which are toxic and which also stimulate mucus production. And so you have slime that gets produced, and then you have more threats that come in, more over acidity. So you have more slime that gets produced, and more, and eventually, basically you have slime on top of old slime on top of old slime. And what happens to chemistry that's acidic over time is eventually it coagulates, it hardens, and it becomes, or can become in theory, like a glue. And so this is what's going on over years of time, or even decades of time, inside the gut, in theory. Add to this, now you're going to add in foods. So you have this slime wall, and then now you're going to add in foods like processed white flour. Okay, which is literally like, have you ever made paper mache? And you can use it, you can make white flour into basically hardened glue material. That's paper mache. And so, this can also create a perfect storm for a slime wall that just keeps getting entrenched and very difficult to scrape off. Obviously, there's so many problems with this. This is going to hurt the absorption, where you actually get the nutrition from the foods going through the gut. This is going to hurt respiration, the ability for oxygen to move through the cells, which is so important for cellular life. And then lastly, this is going to create a perfect nesting ground for parasites, because many of the parasites thrive and live on waste and highly toxic, highly acidic materials. And you really can't hate them for it, because that's their role in nature. It is basically custodians, and they're cleaning up the mess of nature. And so, people want to do parasite cleansing and get rid of harmful organisms, but it's so important to clear out their home base first, because otherwise you're just killing the enemy, but you're leaving all their munitions and headquarters and all their resources in place, where another army could just come back and set up shop. You want to blow up the whole operation. You want to get rid of their nest, and you want to get rid of the slime wall. And so that's the whole theory and logic behind the slime wall. It's debated about whether that's actually what's coming out. If that's not coming out, what is? I mean, to me, it's very beyond reasonable that this is what's going on. I'm a big believer in the slime wall, and that appears to be what was coming out of me. And so now I did this and ended up doing it another time, a second time. More stuff came out. It was a little bit less the second time. And then I did it again a third time. And the third time, almost as much came out as the first time. So, and it was again, the same time the same kind of material was coming out. So I was amazed that this was continuing to yield results. Every time I did it, I was feeling better and better every time. And so I actually intend to do it again a fourth time. And I would actually like to get to the point where I feel like there's a good chance that I've gotten out the lion's share of any old waste and toxins out of my body. That's my personal goal. And I will say that this cleanse has helped me do that. I do feel like I'm getting closer to that. And the results have been really, really good after every time. More and more energy. Also, my abdomen, it feels like it's tightening up. I've always had this kind of pouch that sticks out like a protruding, distended belly, and it's kind of getting mocked up and kind of sucked in naturally through this process. And so, that's my experience doing it. I do intend to continue on, because the gut is so important. Now, if you're at the beginning of your natural healing journey and figure out all this natural health tips and tricks and how to go to the next level, this should be the very beginning, addressing the gut. The gut is where it all begins and ends. It's one of the first things to develop in an embryo. It's the wheel of the body, the main hub of everything starts and ends there. It's tied to the emotions. It's tied to the microbiome of the body, to the pH of the body, to your nutrition, your absorption, your detox and elimination. And so this should be the starting point. Clear out the gut before you do anything else, even before you worry about eating healthier. Clear out the gut first. And follow the information in the Rapid Regeneration Program, because there is a certain order of doing things that will really help you get better results than just trying to figure it all out or kind of shoot from the hip. And so I want to address the cost of Zen Cleanz versus other solutions that are out there, because it's high. I mean, when I was told about it, and basically I was talking to my chiropractor, and he's like, oh yeah, did this amazing cleanse, here's what happened. It's like $250 to buy it, $250 US. And I thought, that's a lot. I've talked about other colon cleansing and intestinal cleansing. Like there's an oxygen-based cleanser that I've used with a lot of success. In fact, I did another segment about it. It's one of the first episodes of Rapid Regeneration. And I recommend that product because I got quite a lot of good results with it. And I think it runs around $50 for a bottle, which is enough to do like 2 different cleanses, 5 days each. Plus, you'll have some left over for like maintenance that you can take, or if you have a really big meal or something. And so that you get a lot of product. You can find that product at rapidregeneration.com/colon cleanse if that is more in your budget. But I will say, even though the Zen Cleanz is 5x the cost, I felt like I got 10x the results from using it. I mean, it didn't even come close. And so the other thing is that, the formulation process of how they make it over multiple years and the fermentation that has to happen, it's an expensive product to formulate, it seems like to me. And then they probably mark it up like a Keystone, like most, which would be standard for an ethical product, would be marked up 100%. I don't know that for sure if I had to guess. And so you end up with about $125 of actual cost of product that went in to make this product. So anyways, that's how it compares in terms of cost to some of the other stuff that's out there. You could try other stuff if you want. I'm just telling you my experience. I think both are great, but this one has been the most shocking, game-changing thing that I've experienced. So you can get 5% off. I have since become an affiliate for Zen Cleanz, and so if you use my code RAPID, you can get 5% off. And one last thing I'll say about the cost, which is that I said in the beginning, I'm always looking for a shortcut. I'm looking for, how can I get to the next level the easy way, the quick way, the most effective way, not the hard way, not the slow way, not the school of hard knocks way, where I have to get down in the mud and dragged through the ditch and learn from mistakes and learn from losses. I've done all that. That is not what I want to do. Although I understand sometimes that's part of the journey. But, that's what I really like about this cleanse. The expedient nature of it, it just compresses the amount of results that I'm able to get. It compresses the time it takes and the effort, and it works just like gangbusters. Now, what it takes more of is a monetary investment. So even though it's easier and it's faster, it actually doesn't seem easier because it seems harder, because it costs $250. And so That's something that personally you have to figure out if you can justify that. Personally, I was able to, because in my personal life over the last 9 years, the best investments I've made are in my own health. And every time I do, I get better results, and I figure out how to perform better at my work, and figure out ways to create value, and the money figures itself out. And I find that by really creating vibrant, energetic health for myself, that I find that the money comes in more easily. And so I've easily gotten the money back and a lot more from what I've invested in my own health. So if there's an opportunity that comes up for me to go to the next level in terms of energy and performance, how I feel, how all that allows me to relate to other people and serve people better, I'm all for it. And I know that it's going to come back to me if it works and if the value's there. So that's how I justify it. But I can't justify that for you. There's only two reasons that you wouldn't do something like this, which is either you don't think it's going to work, or you think it's too expensive. And I've already laid out all the logic, all the mechanism of action, and basically how this formula works. So I've just shared all the information with you. I've shared everything that I know about it. So I can't do anything else for that. And if you think it's too expensive, I get it. I've been there. I've been in a hard place where, if I had to buy it, it would have been on a credit card, a high interest, and I've been between a rock and a hard place. I've been uncertain about the future financially. I've been conservative with money. I understand all of that. Totally get it. So, but just whatever you do, don't invalidate yourself. Don't tell yourself that you don't deserve it, or that, that kind of a premium price is only for, rich elite people to do, and that, don't count yourself out in that way. If it doesn't make sense for you to do right now, give yourself permission to be able to do it when it's time, and say to yourself that, you deserve it, and you are worth it, and maybe make it a goal to do it at some point, even if it's not right now. That just depends on your level of urgency and your level of obsessive commitment to how quickly you want to go to the next level, and of course how can you figure out how to come up with the 250. So I can't solve that problem for you, but that's how I think about it. And I think about my health, and look at the baby boomers that are out there. A lot of them made responsible financial choices, and they have their pension coming in, and they've got their expenses figured out. They've got extra money left over. But do they have extra health left over? I think a lot of them end up having more money that's going to last longer than the runway that's left of their life. And if they were to look at it, they would go, man, I would do anything for another 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years of healthy years left. Not just lifespan, but health span. And so, I could take that 250 and invest it in a 401k and then collect it back when I'm 65. I personally want my intestines to be working well when I'm 65. That's pretty important. And if you just look at all the problems, the rates of degenerative problems that are happening to the gut, that just explode. The statistics all explode off the charts once you get older. And so all of this can be addressed, and there's ways to do it. There's many different ways, but this is the quickest, the fastest, the most effective, not the cheapest, but the most game-changing that I have found in my 9 years. That's why I was excited to experiment more with it and to document all these results and bring them to you. I am like your own personal guinea pig or lab rat, and I will let you know what happens after I do the fourth one, and I'll keep you posted. If we're not connected on social media, find me at Rapid Regeneration, You know, I'm looking to make friends. I want to make new friends and connect with people who are like-minded. And so please connect with me there. And my mission is to help people and share information that will help people that has helped me. And so I'm so honored to get to do that. You can find all this information at rapidregeneration.com. And again, you can find the Zen Cleanz formula at rapidregeneration.com/gut cleanse. And you can use the code RAPID, affiliate code, for 5% discount. I wish you the best of luck. That's all for now. I will see you on the next segment.
For more information, please follow at Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.